Guys, welcome to the channel, ElkShape Gear. I'm Dan Staten. So I'm running a couple different systems for the backcountry. I think for 2023, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, I'm gonna be running the Peaks. It's next level. But I didn't want to leave behind a couple other options. So the first thing we're looking at is a Cimarron, which I've ran a lot in the backcountry. And then I also have a Gossamir one person. It's called the One. I'll show you that one as well. When you're looking at Cimarron options, you got a basic Cimarron, which is going to be real low key. You can get a 6-person one, which is what we're in right now. You can get an 8-person, you can get the Red Cliff. Go to their website, check out all the options. Generally, when they give like a 6-person, they're thinking summertime, no stove. You add a stove, divide by 2. So with a stove, you can sleep 3. So I've done that with Jake, my dad, and myself in Wyoming backcountry with the Cimarron. And it was soaking wet, raining all day, but we were able to still hunt because we had a stove. We were able to dry out our gear every day in the backcountry, not having to go back and get gear. And you can't pack a bunch of extra clothing when you're in the backcountry. We were using horses and everything, and we had a lot of gear, but still needed to dry it out. So let's talk about stoves. Stoves are extra. It's gonna be anywhere from like $300 to extra $400, depending on which stove you get, and it's gonna be all titanium, and they work amazing. They weigh next to nothing, which is awesome. They collapse, and then you can piece them together. It's really intuitive. And then all their stoves will have a stove jack or a stove port where you can cut open, and then that's where your stove goes, which I highly recommend. I think that's kind of the whole point of these systems, is to have a stove to dry out, to stay warm. And then if you're running early season, you can risk it for the biscuit, but man, if you're gonna have any weather and potential need to dry out your gear, get the stove. Seek Outside does have a lifetime warranty, but that's not gonna cover misuse. So if you have embers sparking, putting holes or rips because of misuse, they're not gonna take care of you. But like craftsmanship or something, there's a defect, they got you lifetime. So you're looking at a 6-man. This weighs 6 pounds, 8 ounces with the pole, your canopy, and your stakes. Doesn't include the stove. When you buy this, you have the option of getting a carbon or aluminum. This is carbon. I would strongly recommend carbon. It will be a weight savings for sure. This folds up into 6 pieces, so it's got a very sleek design, fits really well in your pack. There's Dyneema reinforced seams. Usually it's double stitched anywhere where there's a guy out, except for your mid panels. You'll see a couple spots along the tent where you can do a mid guy out. Those are going to be a little more stretchy, or be able to give you a little bit more opportunity to manipulate the TP to suit the location you've picked. There's a total of 10 guy outs. The nice thing about the Cimarron is there's a dual zipper door, but there is only one door. When you go to their website, you'll have options to choose color, as well as if you want to add some sort of netting for bugs, and a floor, plus screens. I would recommend just getting a basic one. It'll probably cover everything you need. Total square foot is 150 feet, depending on the model that you get. Plenty of room, I would say, for a couple of guys and all their gear. Height-wise, I'd say if you're above 6 feet, you're not gonna really be able to stand all the way up. And when you compare this to the Peaks allows you to put your poles cross-membered, and it really adds more structural integrity. These are pretty good against the wind, and it is really all about how you set it up. Speaking of setting up, Seek Outside has several assets on their YouTube channel, but I'll just tell you my favorite method. I think they call it the setback method, but what I'll do is I'll take this pole and I'll pick out where I want the very middle of it to be, and I'll mark it right there, and then I'll lay this pole flat on the ground and mark opposite ends so I know the diameter, and I'll put little stakes in there. That kind of gets you started. Really get your door pegged in first, and then work around and just kind of manipulate it till you get it to fit. That's been the best method for me, but there's always a little trial and error on how you pitch the tent, and if you're getting snow, how you can pitch it so the snow comes off. There's a lot of nuance to setting up TPs, actually more than you think. I would study up on YouTube and watch your best videos on how to do that. Plus, you just need a little practice and you'll be a pro. Pretty cool setup. I do want to show you one more option, Gossamir, which is something I ran last year in 2022. It's a 1-man, it's very light, and it's a great setup. I'll give you the specs. It's just under 300 bucks. Factory tape seams, weighs around 18 ounces, extremely light, 84 inches long, 33 inches wide. If you have a 25-inch sleeping pad, you're good to go. I opted to run it with just trekking poles. However, if you need your trekking poles, you're gonna have to use them. but it's such a quick and slick setup. I spent several nights in the Gossamir, and I highly recommend it for those solo elk hunters out there, especially, or mule deer hunters. Easy to set up, great shelter. It's got a bathtub floor. Bugs aren't gonna get at you. You can keep brush and debris out. It's a great setup. Keep all my gear right here. Pad, bag, handgun in the backcountry, that's it. All your gear's out of the weather. You actually have double vestibule, matching side. If you need to take your trekker, you can take it, leave the tent, maybe put a rock on it or something so it doesn't blow away. One time I even just brought a saw with me and I cut sticks, and I had a stick replace the trekking pole because I was in steep country and I needed my trekking poles, and that works really well as well. But there is a little spot here for you to hook in your trekking pole. I love the bathtub. I love that it's not floorless. Keeping bugs and debris out of my stuff so I can sleep really well. It is definitely a one-man, plus double vestibules for all your gear. So light. Gossamir, who knew? And the price is pretty right, like $2.99-ish for everything included, and it's like just at a pound, just pound and a half with all your gear, including your stakes. I hope you enjoyed checking out some of these options. When you're looking at a shelter system, buy once, cry once, get the best. If you end up going with the Peaks, I do have a discount code ElkShape, whether you get it from Black Ovis, you get it off Peaks Equip website. Throw in their sissy sticks, get the ones with the cork on top. And again, we are gonna finish up our trekking pole shootout video. That's coming soon. We're still testing, and we appreciate your support. Tyler and I have been busting our butts on this channel to just give you no nonsense, no fluff, straight out experienced guys using gear and telling you what we think so that you can be armed to make the best decision for you. Best of luck in 2023.